Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Roman Reigns' WWE return has already shaken the entire landscape of Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and Bronson Reed need to find a way to take down the original Tribal Chief as soon as possible. The head of the table is back to take revenge on Seth Rollins' faction, as they laid him out on Raw after WrestleMania. Besides the return of the only Tribal Chief, an OG Bloodline reunion also unfolded when Roman shook hands with Jey Uso after rescuing him. This indicates that the former undisputed WWE champion is currently portraying a babyface character within the company. Meanwhile, in a potential twist, Reigns might turn heel once again and could destroy Jey Uso on Raw. This could be the consequence of the former world champion's actions on last week's show when he hugged CM Punk and checked him after the post-match assault by Seth Rollins' alliance. It's worth noting that the OTC refused to shake hands with the voice of the voiceless on Raw last week. This shows that the OG Bloodline leader has no soft spot for Punk. This is especially after he used his favor before WrestleMania to get the Wiseman on his side. Jey Uso showing empathy for Punk might backfire on him, as Roman Reigns could turn on the 39-year-old star. The original Tribal Chief might probably address this on tonight's Raw and clear his intention to stay away from the voice of the voiceless. Despite this, if the Yeet Master continues to help the best in the world, Reigns might not hesitate to turn heel once again and destroy the Samoan twin. It will be interesting to see how the storyline will unfold in tonight's edition of the Red Brand as the OTC is back on television. Roman Reigns has already been dominating WWE Raw since his return. The return of the former undisputed WWE champion has already proved beneficial for WWE. Reigns is doing impressively in merchandise selling on WWE Shop. Additionally, his newest collectible, the Tribal Chief Championship, is also putting up great numbers. WWE has already announced that Roman will be part of Raw tonight, and ticket sales are going up dramatically. Tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw is a nearly sold-out show, with very few tickets available as per Ticketmaster. Roman Reigns' music hit like a thunderclap through the Raw arena. The crowd erupted, half in shock and half in awe. After months of absence, rumors swirling about injuries, Hollywood deals, and backstage politics, the Tribal Chief was back under the bright lights of WWE. But this return wasn't draped in the warmth of his loyal bloodline. No, this return carried a storm. And Jey Uso, his once beloved main event Uso, was square in the eye of it. The seeds for this destruction had been planted long before. Back when Roman first crowned himself head of the table, Jey Uso's defiance had forged him into Reigns' most loyal soldier. But loyalty, in Roman's world, was never permanent, it was transactional. And when Jey stepped away to forge his own path on Raw, defying the bloodline's suffocating grip, Roman watched. He watched as his family cracked apart piece by piece, Jimmy's betrayal, Solo's ascension, and Jacob Fata's monstrous debut, all fractures that left Roman's kingdom looking more like an empire of sand. Now, with SummerSlam around the corner, Roman's calculated return wasn't about championship gold, not yet, anyway. It was about reasserting control. Reigns didn't need a belt to prove who he was. He needed to remind everyone, including Jey Uso, that there is no bloodline without the Tribal Chief. And if that reminder meant turning back into the merciless heel who wrecked everyone and everything, so be it. Raw ended in chaos the night Roman returned. Jey Uso had just picked up a gritty win against Finn Balor in the main event. Sweat pouring, crowd roaring yeet. Yeet, the stage was set for a feel-good finish. But then those iconic three notes dropped. That slow, menacing beat that once meant hope for some and dread for others. Roman stepped out wearing no shirt, no championship, no crown, just a black hoodie pulled over his head and a scowl that told the whole story. The crowd's roar twisted into an anxious murmur. Michael Cole's voice cracked as he tried to sell the shock. Corey Graves just laughed, he knew. Everyone knew. Roman didn't come to hug his cousin. He came to deliver a message. Jey stood frozen as Roman slid onto the ropes. For a heartbeat, they stared at each other, family ties and old memories flickering behind Jey's eyes. Roman tilted his head, almost smirking. He raised the mic to his lips. The crowd fell silent. "You thought you could do this without me, huh?" Roman's voice dripped with venom. "You thought you could carry the name, carry the legacy, without your Tribal Chief?" Jey tried to speak, but Roman launched. One Superman punch, sudden, brutal, stunning. Jey crashed to the mat. The crowd booed, stunned out of their yeet chants. Roman didn't stop. He pulled Jey up by his hair, sneering into his face. Another Superman punch. Then the spear, thunderous enough to make the ring bounce. The tribal chief stood tall over his fallen cousin, eyes cold, jaw clenched. He hadn't just attacked Jey. He'd reclaimed him. Backstage reports say this moment was entirely Roman's idea. He wanted to remind the locker room, and the WWE Universe, that he can flick the switch anytime. He can be the hero, the Hollywood icon, the champion. But when he chooses, he can become the coldest, cruelest villain in wrestling history. No family bond, no old promise, no tearful promo could soften him when the crown felt loose on his head. So, is Roman Reigns turning heel again? The truth is he never fully turned face. Sure, the crowds cheered when he finally lost the undisputed title at WrestleMania. Fans celebrated Cody Rhodes finishing the story moment. They thought it was the end of the tyrant, but tyrants don't just disappear. They lie in wait. They sharpen their swords. And when the next threat appears, they strike harder than ever. If rumors hold true, WWE is already scripting a savage bloodline civil war for the fall. Jey Uso stands as the defiant heart, the only Uso willing to stand alone. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu are rumored to tighten their grip on SmackDown, while Roman lurks in the shadows, striking when the family dares to slip. This version of Roman isn't about championship gold just yet. It's about the crown, the invisible one. The one that says, "I'm in charge. I'm your king. I'm your destroyer." What makes this next heel run so chilling is how personal it's about to get. Roman and Jey's bond is real, layered in years of family loyalty, real-life love, and on-screen heartbreak. When Roman demolishes Jey, it cuts deeper than any betrayal between random rivals. This is blood against blood, the very soul of the Bloodline saga. Fans are split. Some are exhausted by Roman's dominance and want him to step back, fade away, and let stars like Cody, Seth Rollins, or even LA Knight take the main event mantle. Others crave this Roman, the cold-blooded, manipulative mastermind who holds his own flesh and blood hostage in a never-ending quest for respect. In the coming weeks, expect Jey to retaliate. Expect promos dripping with raw emotion. "I stood with you, Us. I bled for you. And this is what you do to family?" But also expect Roman to twist the knife deeper. Maybe he forces Solo to choose between brothers. Maybe Jacob Fatu becomes the new enforcer, the unstoppable wall that Jey keeps slamming into. And maybe, just maybe, Roman's endgame is to break Jey so completely that he kneels again, not to the champion, but to the monster who calls himself Tribal Chief. One thing's certain, WWE Raw hasn't felt this volatile in months. One roar of Roman's music turned the whole landscape upside down. Jey Uso may have found freedom, but Roman Reigns is back to prove that freedom is a myth when your last name is Uso. You can eat all you want, but sooner or later, the Tribal Chief comes for his crown. And when he does, family isn't family anymore.